communication, they say, corrupts good manners. Most teenagers are influenced by their peers. How do teenage culture predispose them to drug abuse? Well, today's episode will be talking about that, and our short clip for today will tell you more. My name is Louisa Olani. Welcome to Regardless, an anti-drug abuse TV series put together by Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry, CADAM, a faith-based NGO at the forefront of the fight against drug abuse under the auspices of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. We'll take a break to our video of the day and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
End of this graduation, they don't give you the PhD. Sue them. I'll personally represent you.
I beg, you supposed to carry award for most funny guy. Funny guy. I mean, know the wine.
I know that already. Hey, that reminds me. Have you heard about the party that Ines is throwing?
Girl will never hear about that party. Everybody for here about
the party is going to be the hottest on campus.
Even Dean self go show.
So,
Omo, you guys have fun, sha.
I don't understand. What do you mean have fun? Aren't you coming?
Who is coming for party? You guys have fun.
Come on now, stop. It's going to be the baddest party ever.
I said I'm alright. You guys can go on. Mike, we get exam. Oh.
That's in 6 weeks' time now.
The fact that you think 6 weeks is not a long time, it baffles me. Oh.
Come on now, Dave. This is going to be the maddest. It's going to be one of the biggest in campus.
You guys will be fine. I'm alright. I'm not going.
You know this party won't be interesting if you're not there.
Actually, it will.
It won't.
It will.
Don't forget you're the turn-up king.
By the way, who even gave me that name?
You are the ginger guy now. Have you forgotten? Come on now.
Don't worry. You guys will be fine. I'm not going for the party. Thank you.
Dave, it's going to be light.
I'm serious. I'm not going.
Seriously?
Serious as heart attack.
It's your loss, bro.
Thank you. Sure. Fuck is that? Hello?
Did I wake you?
No, I'm already up. Good evening, Mom.
Good evening, my son. How are you doing?
I'm alright.
And school?
Same old. I'm even working on a project currently.
I hope you're staying out of trouble.
I'm trying my best to.
You're coming home next weekend, right?
About that, I don't think I can come this weekend though. Is Dad there? I left him a couple of messages earlier today. He didn't even respond to any of them.
Do you want to talk to your father?
Yes, please, can I talk to him?
Oh, okay. Your father is a little preoccupied now, but he'll call you back tomorrow.
Okay, no problem then.
All right, take care.
Love you, Mom.
I love you.
Oh, screw this.
Rufus, why?
You can see I'm very busy.
He just wanted to say hello.
That's how it starts, with hello. Before you know it, he's making demands. He wants this, he wants that, pocket money, shoes, this and that.
If he doesn't ask you for those things, who will he ask?
I go out above and beyond to provide for my family. What I will not do is to spoil them. Eh? When I was his age, I worked while I schooled. Eh? I saw myself through the university.
Different times, Rufus.
Regardless, he's lucky he's got a father. Eh? Some of us were not fortunate.
girl, the last time that I checked. Now before I digress, my girl, you told me that I'm not your love interest. See, my girl, the last time that I checked. See, nothing ain't changed yet, except that I got a big bag and a big flag. Don't make nobody tell me nonsense, my nigga. Streets is so cold, my nigga. May nobody come try cry me a river. I'ma pull through like the strings on my guitar. Nonsense, my nigga. The streets is so cold, my nigga. May nobody come try cry me a river. I'ma pull through like the strings on my guitar. It's so cold outside, my brother. I don't want pull no trigger. I just want it, cause I'm going place. I don't want no wahala. It's so cold outside, my brother. I know they hate on my brother. Me, I just want it, cause I'm going places. I don't want no wahala. Oh, it's so cold outside.
I'm so happy you came, bro.
Me too, my G.
You actually took those stuff to the next level.
Trust me now, it's Dave the plug. Come on.
I'm so proud of you.
Alright, man.
What?
Come on, nothing, no, just do your thing.
It's just weed.
I said nothing, just do your thing.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm alright, thank you. I'm
Wait,
good.
you don't smoke?
Why does that surprise you?
The turn up guy doesn't smoke. Who would have thought? Bro, what's up now?
What's up?
Yeah.
Alright, man.
So how do you always get the energy to turn up?
As for some of us, it comes naturally.
No wonder you're always grumpy.
Who's always grumpy, this guy?
Then give it a try.
I'm alright, thank you.
Dave, just one drag and I promise your life will never remain the same.
Mike, I like my life the way it is. Thank you.
Do you understand what I'm telling you once you give it a try? Trust me.
How's school, David?
Actually, I am tired. No matter how hard I try, I'm always behind. I'm fed up. I'm trying the possible best to make you and mom proud. It is not working. It is tiring. I'm exhausted.
Fine, Dad.
Good.
Can I be excused, please?
Sure.
Thanks for staying tuned. Hope you had one or two lessons from that video. Well, to take us through that storyline and other talking points for today's show is an ex-Academ beneficiary. He's also a video director who uses his story of drug abuse to teach children and parents on the danger of drug use. Join me to make welcome Ajiva Lubem. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Interesting. You were so enmeshed into the video, and it seems that you were in that video. First and foremost, what do you make of the entire clip?
Well, I could see that there were some mistakes that his parents made, particularly his dad, that I would say I can see that my own dad made. There were a lot of mistakes. So like I see a lot of things that happened to me in that video. Maybe not all, but maybe like 80% of everything that happened to me. I saw it in that video. And it is some of the things that when I have the opportunity, I talk to parents about, because I always say that my parents made those mistakes because that was the best they knew at that point. They can't give more than they know, you know, but people need to be educated, because it's funny how people learn how to drive, they learn how to operate a computer, they learn how to do stuff, but when it comes to raising children, they don't learn. Just because you can afford a car does not mean you can automatically drive it. So the fact that you can bring a child into the world does not make you a good parent. So parents need to also learn the way they learn other things in their lives. They need to learn how to raise children, because most times I feel like they just rear children in Nigeria. It's not
Rare,
like
not even true, that word
they
rare.
don't raise children.
Could it be why marriage institution is the only institution that you get your certificate even before graduating? I mean, if you get it at the beginning, and then the
Well, that
only
explains a lot.
but let's come back. You keep talking about you seeing yourself. What is your story, or what was your story?
Okay, mine was a story, or is a story of verbal abuse, sexual abuse, and then drug abuse, in that order. So I grew up in an environment where my dad constantly kept comparing me with other children, because I'm an introvert. I'm very quiet. So growing up, my dad always compared me to other children that were outspoken. Like, do you see what this person is doing? This is what this person is doing. Because whenever, maybe in church, people join drama unit and all of that, but that was not me. That is not me. But so it got to a point where I started to feel like I had a problem, because I could not do the things other children were doing, and they were extroverts. And so I started having a low self-esteem. And then we had a cousin that was living with us, and she started molesting me when I was like 10 or so. Right? And I could not talk to them, because already the relationship was already
Broken.
not, it wasn't there. If it's broken, I mean, it was there, then it broke. You know, there was just
It was
nothing
never a
there.
relationship.
My dad was my dad, the person that beats you when you do wrong, the person that gave birth to you, the person that pays your school fees. It was just, and it affected my relationship with God when I got born again, because God to me then was just God the Almighty. If you do something wrong, He'll punish you. I didn't really see God as my father, you know. So I grew up with a low self-esteem because of this, obviously. And then I met some people later in life where when I was staying with my uncle. So at a point they even said I should stay with my uncle. I didn't want to stay, but they forced me to stay. So I met some people that made me feel accepted, because I used to feel like they loved me, but now I just know that they made me feel accepted. And so I started doing what they were doing. They were doing drugs, and it helped at that time, because I had a low self-esteem, and when you smoke you are high. And so I became more confident when I smoked. I was able to do some things I was not able to do with like normal.
Eyes.
Yeah.
So you needed the stuff to just get gingered.
Yeah, so
Now, I mean, the verbal came with that, comparing you, and then the uncle sexually molesting you, and then you met people that brought you into drug abuse.
Yeah.
And now, for that clip, we saw three things that also came: a busy father, a harsh mother, and a bad company.
yeah.
So in all of that, I mean, which is the worst hit, you know, for Dave? That also you might want to see that also happening in your own story.
I think the worst hit was the unavailable father. I won't say busy. I mean, I don't think anybody's too busy. You get so.
He could pay. I mean, he always speaks about how I work hard to pay the bills and everything.
Yeah,
So,
so
I mean,
the thing is, paying the bills does not necessarily make someone a good father. I mean, I can pay people's bills without being their father. So paying your bills is not what makes me, you know, a good father. And I think it's a problem with men, even in marriages, when they are unable to provide for their family financially, they begin to have issues. I mean, I've come to realize that your first assignment as a husband is not even financial
commitment or implication.
provision,
Yeah.
which it is very important, but that is not your primary role. Your primary role as a man is leadership.
Leadership.
You should be able to, you know, lead yourself and then lead your family. So financial responsibility is not like, but somehow it just looks like that's what makes, you know, the husband a man.
A man.
I don't know how it became like that, but your primary, I mean, men have, there's this thing they call 5 P's of fatherhood. Provision is there, protector. That one is important. You should protect your family physically, spiritually, because the truth is, if there is no attack, there will be no need for a protector. The moment you give birth to your children, you are protecting them against many things. These days, because of the way the internet is now, I mean, everything is just,
You even need the father too.
yeah.
And what's the last P?
There's Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
That talks about leadership.
Provide, protect,
Vision.
and being a pathfinder.
Yeah.
So let's come back to teenage. What are some of those cultures among teenagers that predisposes them to drug use? We'll take that just right after this break.
My name is Ajiva Lubem. I'm a video director, and I used to do drugs, and I am 12 years plus clean now from drugs. You can be cool, you can be hip without doing drugs. And I would advise you to hold on to God. My God does not do drugs, but He's the Most High. Thank you very much.
You're still watching Regardless, an anti-drug abuse TV series put together by Kadam under the auspices of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And today we're talking teenage culture and how it predisposes them to drug abuse. And Ajiva Lubem is still with us. He's an ex-Kadam beneficiary. He has his own story to tell, and he's using his own story, his own life experience to teach other young people how to be assertive, how to say no to drugs, how to understand some of these cultures and guard themselves into getting addicted. Thank you once again for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
And of course, now let's start off with some of those teenage cultures teenage culture that predisposes them to drug use.
I usually would use some of the things that happened to me because I believe that some of those things are still happening to some teenagers right now. So while growing up, I felt really misunderstood. I felt like my parents did not really understand me. And I have had witnesses where I went to speak, and teenagers also always say that they feel like their parents do not understand them. So like I said before, that you can bring a child into the world does not necessarily mean you know how to parent the child. Secondly, you don't raise two children the same way. So maybe you come back from somewhere and one of the child runs to hug you, "Mommy, welcome." The other one is just like, "Mommy, welcome," on one side, and you begin to shout on that child, making them feel like there's something wrong just because they did not react like the other child. Meanwhile, you need to understand love languages. Some children may be huggers and all of that. Some children, their love languages may be different. So when these children go out and meet people that they feel like understand them, it's easier for them to just, get exposed to some of all those things. And then because there's no relationship with their parents, they are not able to, speak to them and tell them what was going on. Because me, at many points in my life, I could have been saved if I was just able to talk to maybe my mom or my dad, but there was no relationship, and the internet these days is one place. I mean, it's just very open. There's literally nothing you cannot see on the internet. So there's pop culture where smoking and drinking just makes people cool. I've had people tell me, "You don't smoke, you don't drink. I mean, you're not a real man." So if you don't have background knowledge from your, growing up stage to know that, okay, there's nothing wrong with
You just being the normal guy.
yes, like in that video, they told him, "How can you be the coolest guy and you don't smoke?" It didn't make any sense to them, even though he kept saying, "Thank you, I'm okay, I mean, but at some point, I believe because he could not talk to his dad, he was trying to talk to his dad at some point. I believe because he could not talk to him, was like, you know what, because those guys made him feel appreciated.
Let's wrap up now with this. How can we prevent drug abuse among teenagers?
First of all, number one, information. Like I said, tell children why. Tell children why, right? And then parents need to be friends with their children. I always say it anywhere I go that God has given us the template of how to parent. Whenever we sin, God wants the first thing you do is to come back to Him. But I mean, you know that there are many children that you tell. Now, in fact, I asked it somewhere where I went to speak. I said, for example, now you get pregnant. Is your mom going to be the first person you will call? And they're like, eh? I mean, but that is the way it should be. Your child should be able to come back to you no matter what the mistake is, because that's how God is. No matter what you've done,
Just come.
you come back to
You
God.
make you as white as snow.
Yeah, so they should be able to talk to you, open up to you, and you know.
All right,
So
so
I
what's your
think
advice there before we go? You're looking at a teenager that is at the verge of, going into this kind of activity. He might just need one or two words from you to assure him or her to stay clear.
most times before you go on this journey, it looks like it has a very promising future. But I will tell you from experience, my experience, and from the experiences of many people I have seen, it does not end well. You don't start what you cannot finish. The journey never ends. It just continues until you are dead, really. It doesn't stop. And for those already into it, no matter how far you have gone, there is still salvation. Nobody should tell you that there is no way out of drugs, because I was 15 years plus into drugs. I came out, at least you can see me right now. I know people 20 years, 24 years into drugs, and they came out. One thing that helped me in my life that I knew was the 1 year I spent in Kadam. That year is like the best year of my life, because from that year it was like I was reborn. So they use in Kadam, they use replacement therapy. They take out the drugs and give you Jesus. And they told us that the only way you can go back into drugs is when you backslide from your faith. So as long as you stay in faith, there's no way. I mean, I'm counting almost 12 years now out of drugs, and I went to Kadam. So it is possible to get out of drugs, and better not to even start at all.
Thank you very much, Rubin, for sharing that very touching story there. And of course, there's always hope in the horizon. No matter how deep you're falling, there's hope once you seek help. We can't end the show without appreciating our program sponsors, Fitson Healthcare, NEM Insurance, and CFAX Group. Also our collaborating partners, NDLEA and NOA. It's been a fantastic journey on the show today, talking to us about teenage culture, how it predisposes them to drug abuse. Mind what you say to your children. Communicate with them. Give them information. Tell them reasons why they should do this and not do that. You might just be their friends. And be friends with them. Yes, that's one take home for me. Be friends with your children so they can open up to you. Thank you very much for staying with us today. Until we come your way again next time, same station. Say no to drugs. And as a teenager, you can be hip. You can be a smart kid without doing drugs. Louisa Olani is my name. See you next week.